San Diego State's basketball team has been off for quite some time. They're back in action tomorrow night. They're facing a 1-6 Southern Utah team. And back on the Scott and BR show on the Mighty 1090, Coach Steve Fisher from the San Diego State basketball program. Hi, Coach.
Is it too late for me to run out and get a lottery ticket?
Coach, exactly my question. I mean, let me ask you a question. You win $600 million in the lottery, okay, and the cash payoff is $300 million, right? You showing up for work the next day?
I do, to turn in my keys. To turn the keys over to Dutcher and finalize the practice facility.
No,
done.
That's right.
Not buying it.
No, I think
not from him. Not from him.
It becomes the Steve Fisher practice facility, right?
No, not that. But we won't have to worry about raising any more money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You become the biggest donor right there on the spot.
Right.
Well, I better go buy one because you can't win if you're not in, right?
That's what I say. You know, I told my wife, I'm like, stop by and buy like $10 worth of lottery tickets. For $600 million, it's worth a shot. Why not?
So how much have you allowed her to spend on the lottery ticket?
I haven't. She's busy right now. She hasn't been able to get it done. Me, I'm sitting here.
Okay.
Coach, we miss you. Not only do we miss you, we miss the Aztecs. Long layoff here in the early part of the season. Is this a usual occurrence?
Well, it's called school.
Oh, forgot about. Sorry, Coach.
Part of it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It does get in the way.
We're in the midst of finals. We're all but finished, and as you can remember back when, we are kind of staggering when we practice. Some kids come late. Some have to leave early. Papers, projects, finals. So it's a bit chaotic, but it's that way everywhere. And you have to be able to work through it. And when you come to practice for the 2 hours you're there, it's got to be the most important class you're in all day because that's the one you're in at the time.
And Steve, is the scheduling having to do with getting the guys back on the court, back in the groove, back in the same kind of routine before you really start playing top-level competition?
Well, what we obviously do, we don't practice or we don't play a game during finals week. So we've got that rule that we've got, and you get through finals, and then you give them a few days home for the holidays, and come back, and pretty soon you're January 1st, New Year's Day. We're playing at Colorado State in the conference opener, so it'll be here very quickly. The key for us during this period where we had like 9 or 10 days was to get ourselves better. We didn't have to worry about preparing for that next game, and we had so many games in such a short time frame that you're always, preparing for your next opponent and doing things to make sure you know what they do best and want to take away from. Now we worked exclusively on San Diego State, on ourselves, on what we need to do to get better, and I think it's been helpful. We've had some sluggish days, to be quite honest, and we've not accepted the fact that it is finals and the routines are different. But we've made progress also.
Coach Steve Fisher from San Diego State's basketball team. So this is a normal thing every year where you kind of shut things down for a period of time to let these guys handle school. Because I'm watching tonight, my alma mater, Pitt, is playing Cincinnati in the Jimmy V Classic. There's lots of college basketball. I mean, this is a Coach Fisher choice. Is that what you're saying?
No, every school, when you see most schools, when they have final exam week, they have probably anywhere from 5 to 10 days, a stretch of 5 to 10 days where they don't play any games. That's everywhere.
Gotcha.
Obviously, all our finals exams are not the same, but most schools are like that. Now, we don't not practice. We gave them a couple of days off after Washington. We played Washington on a Sunday, and we took Monday and Tuesday off, which we rarely take 2 straight days off. But we thought that would be important, and we've come back and practiced hard and tried to get ourselves better in the process.
What do you do, Coach? I mean, when you got done with Washington, and you mentioned, work on San Diego State, clean up some of our things, what were those things that you were working on?
All sorts of things. One, I talked before the season, Scott and BR, about what a great rebounding team I thought we would be. And we've lived up to that offensively. We are the leading rebounder in our conference, percentage-wise, number of shots missed, how many you get back. And we set a goal that no team in America will reach. Get half of our misses, we want an offensive rebound. So if you miss 30 shots, we want to get 15 rebounds. we're rebounding at about a 39% clip of our misses. We are the top in our Mountain West Conference for percentage of offensive rebounds. But we're next to last for defensive rebound percentage. So we've got to do a better job of when we make you miss, not giving you multiple opportunities to score the ball. So we worked hard on rebounding. Our offensive execution in the half court has been inconsistent. So we worked hard on technique, on screening, and we call it speed cuts, and doing the things you have to do against good people to win. So that's just a couple of things.
All right, Coach Steve Fisher from the Aztec basketball team getting back into action tomorrow night. Southern Utah coach, 1-6, comes to town. Don't know much about them. Don't know what conference they play in. Can see that their record isn't very good. What can you tell us?
Well, first-year head coach. He played at Stanford. They're young. 7 of their top 10 are freshmen or sophomores, and they've had a hard time. They've had a hard time winning. And yet, a lot lesser schools in Southern Utah beat a lot better teams than San Diego State. So we need to make sure we're ready and play hard and do what we want to do and not come out and play when everybody thinks all you have to do is show up and win, because it so often doesn't work that way. But this is a game that if we play well, we should win. We've got more experience. We've got veteran players. And then we've got them at home. But we need to come out and play in a fashion that after the game we feel good about. And that's what we've talked about all week long, about making sure that we get better. Don't worry about the opponent. Make sure that we do what we want to do to get better, and everything else takes care of itself.
And how do you, Coach? How do you revise your pregame talk with the guys? I mean, because you have to give that a number of times, where the opposition is probably not going to be nearly as good as your team that you put out on the court. I mean, how do you make sure that it's still fresh and they still are getting it when they get out on the court and play the game?
That's somewhat tricky at times. We've got a pretty good group of young guys, and I told them again today when we looked at film. I said, you have a responsibility first to yourself, then to this program, and to the university, to play as hard as you can, play as smart as you can all the time. And our veteran seniors, Xavier Thames, Josh Davis, you guys have to lead. J.J. O'Brien, you've been here before. So you have to lead, and others have to either also lead or jump in line. So we appealed to their pride a little bit, but we're honest with them. I said, this is a game that we should win. But saying it and doing it are two different stories. And we set some mini goals. We have our 4 or 5 keys of the game that I don't for sure have in my own mind yet. But we've talked with our group about some little things that we want to try to do for the game. But you can't fool kids. They know it's a game we should win. But we need to come out and compete and play as hard as we can. We need a good fan base there to come out and enjoy and have fun and cheer like crazy, like it playing for a national championship. And it's not very many, even though we've got 30-some-odd opportunities. That's not very many times you come out and have an opportunity to perform. So you have to perform, and you have to perform at a high level and be consistent. If you're consistent with your effort, you're usually going to be okay.
Coach Steve Fisher from the San Diego State basketball team. So tomorrow night, Southern Utah. Then Saturday, McNeese State. And then, Coach, explain if you could, for those listening, and I'm curious too, when the game's over Saturday, you say the kids have some time off to go spend holidays at home. A lot of these kids, I'm guessing, might have to travel to get home. And you come back and play on December 27th against a team called St. Catherine College. So before we talk about St. Catherine, just tell us how much time do these kids get off, and how worried do you get about what they might be doing? And what I mean by that more than anything is making sure they stay in tip-top shape.
Well, we play Saturday. I think it's the 21st. We're going to bring them back on the 26th, late afternoon, early evening of the 26th. And that's probably giving them a day longer than we should, but we're
it's
not
Christmas.
Bring them back on
right. Bring them back on Christmas.
So we have that luxury this year. A year ago, we packed up, and it sounds like it's a good trip, but we're playing in Hawaii. We're playing the game on Christmas Day, and we traveled on the 21st or so, and so we were away from home during that time frame. And this year, we're going to let them go home and have a little opportunity to be with their families, and I think they all appreciate that also. And we tell them, you should get out and get into your high school gyms. Don't play, because we don't want them running up and down with their high school team and spraining an ankle.
Right.
But get in the gym and run and shoot and do some things so you don't lose some edge.
Yeah, and then, Coach, you come back, and Billy Ray asking an interesting question about how do you get guys excited about playing teams that are lesser than what's coming up on the schedule, the start of the conference at Colorado State, at Kansas, et cetera. St. Catherine College. So the guys come back on the 26th. They have to play and perform, to use your word, on the 27th. Thankfully, it's not against, say, a Kansas. Who is St. Catherine College, Coach?
Is this we were revisiting Groundhog Day? Didn't we talk about this last time
No,
on the show?
no. You ready? No. You want to know who we talked about?
Who?
San Diego Christian.
Oh, okay.
but it might as well be Groundhog Day, because here's another school that plays basketball in San Diego that we don't know who they are.
Well, if you were really in tune to basketball, you would. St. Catherine's is a new school. As you know, we play usually 2 schools locally every year in the non-conference season, and we sometimes vary that, and we're playing St. Catherine's this year.
That's it.
I mean, what do they play? Do they play? I don't
Basketball?
know. No. Coach, I acknowledge.
I'm going to get you 2 seats, both of you. So we'll look forward to having you at the
deal.
game, and then you can tell me after you watch the game.
I got to
watch them and then make a judgment.
I got to get better tuned in. Hey, Coach, will you be? I'm just curious. During that period of time that the kids get to go away and enjoy some holiday time, will you be staying here in town?
I will be.
And
we will be. You know, there's the big national tournament over at Torrey Pines, so we'll be going to that when it's going. When that goes on, we'll be recruiting also in the process, and I'm also going to be enjoying our new grandson that was born on Saturday. So we've got a lot of things to look forward to.
Hey, Mazel Tov, Coach. That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
What's the baby's name?
Max, M-A-X, Stephen, and if it didn't have Stephen in the name, it might not have made the will. But it's okay now.
Max Stephen Fisher. And how's Mom? How's Dad?
They're tired, but they're doing great. You know how it is when you're proud parents of a newborn. We've all been there. It's phenomenal. We are enjoying the fruits of being the grandparents. We're helping every day, doing whatever we can, and staying out of the way when we need to.
Yeah, it's probably why your phone was ringing a few minutes ago. It's probably Mark calling, going, Dad, can you get over here and help me out a little bit here, will you?
It was Mark. I figured you heard it. It was Mark that called me.
Mad Max is going a little crazy over here.
Dad, get over here and teach me how to change his diaper thing.
Right.
You didn't tell me about this. Coach, that's great news. Good for you. Good for the family. And the reason I asked about if you were going to be sticking around is because I'm going to be up there a lot also at that Torrey Pines tournament. You know, I've got a son who's 13, plays every weekend out at this AIU, and, you know, getting close to high school time. And I want him to see what the best high school basketball talent in the country looks like. And we're going to have that here in San Diego over the holidays.
High-level basketball for sure. It will be really exciting, and it's John Olive and his crew have done a great job with that, and it'll be another great event.
Yep, right on. Coach, one final thing. Did you happen to catch Rocky Long's press conference yesterday? And I wonder if you did, do you have an opinion on what he had to say?
I didn't catch it live, but I watched someone in the office showed me a couple of clips that it had, and I know we're now one of 29 teams nationally that have made 4 straight bowl trips, and only 2 in the state of California that have done that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is neat. But you could talk to the pressures of there were low expectations, then the expectations really quickly get high. In other words, if San Diego State's basketball team this year made the NIT rather than the NCAA, I think you would feel kind of similar to the way Rocky would feel, because fans would not be impressed anymore.
That's the nature of what we do. You know that.
Yep.
It's the nature of the business, and I'd much rather have it this way than when I walked into town and we won 5 games our first year, and people said, "Oh, don't leave. We'll get better. Don't leave." And last year we won 24 games, and people were saying, "What happened?" So, it's everywhere, though. But that's not bad. You have to have expectations. You want your fans to have expectations. You want them to be appreciative and supportive, but you want expectations for everybody. And I'm like everybody else. 2 seconds after the game's over, I got all the answers for what could have been done and maybe should have been done, whether I'm watching the Chargers play, whether I'm watching another college game, and sometimes after our own games, you second guess yourself. So, but I think that's if you deal with it properly from a player perspective, from a coach perspective, I think pressure is good if it's the right kind of pressure. And that we've within our program, we've raised the bar steadily in terms of expectations, and I think our fans have too, and I think the media has also. And I don't worry too much about when people say, well, they're not doing this or not doing that, and don't get too full of myself when we're winning 10 games in a row either. So we try to keep a healthy perspective, and I know Rocky does that same thing.
Coach Steve Fisher from the San Diego State basketball team and new granddad. Coach, wish the family the best during this holiday season and look forward to seeing you down at Viejas Arena over the next few days.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you guys also.
Thank you, sir.